So before I go into this video, I highly recommend you go watch my previous video where I've covered a lot of information about coronavirus. That video is more of a prequel to this one. I'll leave the link to that video above and below as well. So firstly, let me give you some current updates about coronavirus before I go into the actual topic. So 210 plus deaths have been reported so far. More than 10,000 are under severe treatment. And the first coronavirus reported case in India is from Kerala. The scariest thing about coronavirus is that the person who's making this video, that is me, even if I have coronavirus, I wouldn't know it, you wouldn't know it. So that is being the biggest problem here. It takes 14 days to just show symptoms alone. And this person who is reported to have coronavirus is from Kerala and she has traveled a lot in the last couple of weeks. She has traveled from China's capital Beijing to Kolkata and she has come to her hometown in Kerala. So this person has traveled a lot and we all know how densely populated India is. Meanwhile, the Indian government decides to airlift every single Indian from Wuhan and other Chinese provinces as well. On Saturday morning, 324 Indians were airlifted from Wuhan and they were brought back to Delhi. Now these people will be isolated in military quarantine facilities where they will be given special treatment. There is no other choice other than isolating them. This is the same thing which is being carried out by Australia as well, where they have isolated their citizens in the Christmas Islands, and certain number of people from New Zealand will also join them very shortly. All of these people will be given treatment in that specific island of Australia. And finally, let us come into the actual topic. Is coronavirus a man-made virus? Now you can call this as a conspiracy, you can call this as a rumor, we can call it whatever we want, but let us not make a judgment before looking at the actual facts. In October 2019, the Gates couple, Bill Gates of Microsoft and his wife Melinda Gates, they fund a project under the surveillance of a man named Dr. Eric Toner. The purpose of this project is quite simple. What if the CAPS virus, CAPS, the CAPS virus from the Brazilian food market, especially from the pork meat, attacks humans? What would be the result of it? So they tried to make a simulation out of this where they predict the aftermath of such a virus attack. And how are we going to counter that if something like that happens? How are we going to counter that kind of an outbreak? But this simulation was kind of a failure as they couldn't control the virus, and they came up with a report which said that if this virus ever breaks out, the death toll will be close to 60 million. And finally, after this was over, they came up with a report. And some of the predictions they have in the report is quite similar to that of the coronavirus. Number one being is, they have mentioned a lot of countries will stop sending their flights, they will ban flights to enter into the country where this virus outbreak happens. It's the same thing with coronavirus as well. A lot of countries like Australia, India, New Zealand, they've all banned their flights from entering China, other than the flights which are used to uplift their own citizens. So all the flights from and to China have been stopped by so many different countries. The number two report is, this will create an economic imbalance. Stocks would go down somewhere between 20 to 40%, and within a few weeks after the coronavirus outbreak, Hong Kong stock have gone down by 3% and China has completely stopped their stock market in order to prevent the coronavirus sell-off. Whereas certain companies such as the Swiss medicine company, which is known as Novartis AG, their stocks have gone up after they said that they are going to come up with a cure for coronavirus. And so many different pharmaceutical companies in India, their shares have gone up as well. So there is already an economic imbalance here, whereas a month holiday has been declared in Hong Kong, and so many manufacturers, because China and Hong Kong, they are the manufacturing hub globally. So many different countries have set up their companies in Hong Kong and China, and because of this coronavirus, so many things have shut down, and now they are looking for alternative sources where they can set up their manufacturing bases. So yes, this report is kind of equivalent as well. The number three is, they have mentioned that this virus, the CAPS virus, if it ever outbreaks, it would take at least 1 year for the medicine to reach the general public. It is the same thing that Hong Kong said a few days back, where they mentioned that they have found the cure for coronavirus, but it will take at least a year after all the testing to reach the common citizens. Now the question we have here is, why was Bill Gates into something like this? Why was he funding a project like this? And number two is, Dr. Eric Toner, the person who did this research, was the same person who criticized the WHO, the World Health Organization, when they did not declare coronavirus as a public health emergency. They just declared it a couple of days ago. And he stated, saying that if coronavirus is not a public health emergency, I do not know what is. And all of this whole thing happened just 3 months ago, October of 2019. And while I was researching, I read so many articles and so many websites about this, and when I went back to recheck, these websites disappeared. They were taken down. The number two question that we all have to address here is, did coronavirus actually come from the snakes, or does it have anything to do with the animal market in the first place? The Chinese medical researchers, they made a research and they submitted to a medical journal in China which is called as the Lancet. And in this report, they have taken samples of 13 victims. And they have also mentioned that the first person who was diagnosed with coronavirus was on December 1st, 2019 and had nothing to do with the animal market or snakes. And not just one, all the 13 victims that they researched did not have anything to do with the animal market. They officially sent this report to Lancet, and Lancet did recognize this, and they also posted it in their official website. As I mentioned in my previous video, there was a man from Japan who had never been to China, was diagnosed with coronavirus. Now the question we have here is, did coronavirus actually come from the animals, or does it have anything to do with the animal market that these people are talking about? And another incident that I'd like to narrate here is the Sars virus from 2002 and 2003. Now SARS is a virus which traveled to 80 countries and it had a death toll close to 1,000 people. It was from 2002 to 2003, and in 2004 the SARS virus made a comeback. And people were baffled by this, and they questioned the Chinese government. How did a virus which was eradicated in 2003 make a comeback in 2004? There was a widespread panic as the Chinese government back then officially stated that the SARS was under control in 2003. After this became a very big issue, the Chinese decided to address this issue by saying that they were testing SARS in a laboratory in Beijing and it got leaked from there. So many people, their own citizens and different countries in the world were scared of China after this because they did not have proper knowledge of what they were testing in their laboratories. The Chinese government replied saying that there is no need to panic or fear, and China says that they are going to build a super lab and the construction of this lab will be over by 2015, and anything they have to do with virology or viruses, all the researches and testing will be taken out in this super laboratory. And this laboratory is designed to meet biosafety level 4, BSL-4, which means that it is capable of handling some of the most dangerous and deadliest pathogens in the world, something like the coronavirus, and it is the highest level of safety there is, the BSL-4. And where is this super laboratory located? It's located in Wuhan. It's known as the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And what they have been researching from 2016? They have been researching coronavirus since 2016. And who funds the BSL-4 labs? It is funded by the World Health Organization, WHO, which did not declare coronavirus as a World Health Emergency. Now, India also has a BSL-4 lab which is located in Pune, and that lab is also funded by the World Health Organization. Now, they are currently working on the cure of coronavirus. We have a lot of claims and allegations saying that coronavirus is a man-made virus. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think about this? As I mentioned earlier in this video, a lot of articles and a lot of websites that I referred during my research went disappearing after a couple of days. So I did not make any judgment on it. So I leave this completely up to you. So what do you think? Do you think the coronavirus spread from animals? Was it the seafood? Was it the snakes? Or do you think there is something else to it? because there are a lot of coincidences here, or is it just a coincidence? So that's it for today's video. I hope you found it useful and interesting. So take care until I see you again. Goodbye.
I'ma take it.